Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Erica. I am here in my new classroom. It is a new school year, so we are going to talk about fall and the weekend today. I love fall and I also love the weekend. So today we'll learn 10 vocabulary words that you can use when you're talking about fall or the weekend. And I'll also give you 5 questions that we can practice this vocabulary with. And at the very end, I'm going to give you 2 what we call sentence frames. There's sentences where you can put in your own word to talk about fall and the weekend if you want to talk with a friend or practice some of this. Okay, let's get started with the vocabulary. The first word is pumpkin patch. Pumpkin patch. This is a pumpkin patch. You go there to pick pumpkins for decoration or for carving. So you might say, I want to go to the pumpkin patch this weekend. The next phrase or words are raking leaves. Raking leaves, we have to do that here in the United States in the north all the time in the fall. The leaves fall from the trees and we have to rake them. We have to rake them. So you might say, my family spends Saturday mornings raking leaves. Okay, the third word is, or the third phrase is football game, football game. Now, here in the United States, football is the thing that you throw. It is not the thing that you kick, right? So I think we're the only place that calls soccer, soccer and not football. But football game, that is very popular in the fall to watch or to play. Many students go to the football game on Friday night. Okay, number 4, festival. There are so many fall festivals in places where the trees have leaves that change colors. They are beautiful festivals. Sometimes there are rides to go on, ponies or little horses to ride, food, music. There is a fall festival in my town. It is called an apple festival. We also have one called the Harvest Festival. The next phrase is apple picking. Apple picking. I personally love to go apple picking because there are so many different kinds of apples and you get to try them. If you like them, you put them in a bag or a basket and you can get them weighed to see how much they cost and then take them home and eat them or bake an apple pie maybe. So you could say, we went apple picking and then made a pie afterwards. The next word is bonfire. Bonfire. A bonfire is like a regular fire, but so big, giant, right? So you might say, my friends and I like to sit by a bonfire on cold fall nights. Also, sometimes at schools, they might have a special football game and a big bonfire celebration. The next word is baking. Baking. In the fall, this is very popular. You can bake apple pies, you can bake pumpkin pies, cherry pies, any kind of pie that you can imagine. But in the fall, the apple pies and the pumpkin pies, I would say, are most popular. So you might say, I enjoy baking when the weather gets colder. Okay, sweater is your next vocabulary word. So as the weather gets cooler, we're changing from summer to fall, it gets cooler or colder outside, and you might say, I wear a sweater when it is chilly outside. Chilly is not quite really cold, but it's still cold enough to wear a sweater, maybe not a heavy jacket. The next vocabulary words are hot chocolate. Hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is similar to coffee in that it is a cold or a hot beverage that you drink when it's cold out, but it does not necessarily have caffeine in it, right? It's just chocolate. I know a lot of people drink hot chocolate across the world, right? Here Sometimes our hot chocolate is a little bit more like made from a powder, not as good. I've had really good hot chocolate in other countries. So someone might say, hot chocolate is my favorite drink in the fall. My favorite drink would probably be a pumpkin spice latte, but some people don't like coffee. And the last vocabulary word is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is one of the holidays that we celebrate here in the United States in the fall. Some people celebrate Halloween, where you dress up in costumes. Thanksgiving is more where your family gets together and you have a big meal together. So you might tell someone, oh, on Thanksgiving, my family eats a big meal together and we usually cook a turkey. Okay, so those are your 10 vocabulary words from fall. Now let's start with some questions. Okay, for these questions, I'm going to ask you a question and see if you can answer it, okay? And at the end, I'll give my answer after each one so that you can have an example of how you might answer it. So number 1, do you like pumpkin pie or apple pie? Do you like pumpkin pie or apple pie? How would you answer that? So I could say, apple pie, right? But I could also say, oh, I like apple pie because it's very sweet, or because I love apples. Here's your second question. Would you rather go to a football game or stay home and relax? Would you rather go to a football game or stay home and relax? How would you answer that? Okay, for me, I think in the fall, if I had to choose, I would rather stay home and relax. I don't mind when it's chilly outside, but when it gets colder, I like to stay inside and maybe sit in front of a fire. Third question for you. Do you prefer hot chocolate or hot apple cider? Do you prefer hot chocolate or hot apple cider? So we talked about hot chocolate. Hot apple cider. Cider is a drink made from apples and sometimes it's warmed. Which do you prefer? I think I prefer hot apple cider. Okay, would you rather go apple picking or to a fall festival? I would rather go apple picking, although there are usually apples at the fall festival. Last question for you. When it is chilly outside in the fall, do you like wearing a sweater or a light jacket? Do you like wearing a sweater or a light jacket? Okay, I would rather wear a sweater. I don't typically wear light jackets. Here in New York, where I'm from, we wear sweaters and then it gets so cold so quickly, we go straight to the heavy, thick jackets. Okay, last thing we're gonna do today is have some sentence frames. So sentence frames are just sentences that you can kind of study, memorize, and fill in with different words, right? So the first one has to do with fall, or the weekend, I'm sorry. The first one has to do with the weekend. So you can say, on the weekend, I usually, and you can use this anytime, right? Talk about what you usually do, maybe every weekend or a lot of weekends. So I might say, on the weekend, I usually go to my kids' sports games. I have kids that play soccer and hockey, and on the weekend, I usually go to my kids' sports games. What do you usually do on the weekend? Why don't you try that sentence frame out? That sounds fun. Okay, the next sentence frame has to do with fall. In the fall, I like because. Okay, so you can talk about the fall, and actually you can use this with any season, right? You can say in the fall, in the spring, but you start with in the fall, I like. So you can like a thing. I like hot chocolate. I like to go to football games. I like to stay inside. In the fall, I like. And then tell why. In the fall, I like to go to football games because my friends are there. In the fall, I like to drink hot chocolate because it warms my body. In the fall, I like to look at the leaves changing colors because it's so pretty. So there you have it, some new fall vocabulary, some ways to talk about it, and hopefully you got to practice a little bit of conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and my new content will be coming out soon. See you then.